Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk with me, Sifiso Mahlangu. This evening I bring you the Minister of Mineral Resources, Mr. Mosebenzi Zwane. The mining charter was released last night, immediately adopted by the African National Congress. And right here I have the Minister to come and talk to me on this radical definition of the mining charter in South Africa. This is going to explore mining to another dimension completely. Minister, I welcome you to the show.
Thank you, Sifiso.
I've always wanted to have you on the show, and thank you for coming all the way from the youth rally in the Northwest to come and attend to the show.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I've always waited for this call, and I'm glad that it came at the right time. Strategically, June 16, the Youth Month, the Youth Day.
This is a very radical composition you've made. This new mining charter, I read up that the last mining charter you released was in 2010. Yes. The one you released yesterday is very, very radical. And it has made a lot of black people very happy that radical economic transformation may come to this nation. Also, there are those who oppose, saying there will be a lot of job losses in the mining sector. Minister, just take me through this mining charter that you released yesterday.
Well, radical economic transformation is not a term that is born from the Department of Mineral Resources. You will remember that during the State of the Nation address, the President of the country, His Excellency Jacob Zuma, raised this matter sharply. This matter is also a policy matter of African National Congress, the party which I belong to, adopted in Mahlangu in 2012. Time had to come that we stop talking and implement, because that's what we have actually promised our people in their quest in South Africa to ensure that the wealth of the country is shared amongst all of these people. We had to stand up and have this tool, mining charter, radical as it is, to ensure that we actually implement what our president, what our organization has actually instructed us to do.
I'm honored, Minister, that tonight I may be having this conversation with you. I do know that 23 years of democracy is not too long a time to achieve all the strengths of democracy, or to even reverse apartheid. But why has it taken the ministry, why has it taken the African National Congress government 23 years to come to the realization that the mining sector in this country needs radical transformation?
You'll remember that when we started, we did not have experience. The first charter, 2002, was gazetted and reviewed in 2010 because of some gaps in it. And when I came to the department in 2015, we looked at it, we measured the success, and we found that we are not achieving our aim. Out of the 100% we wanted to empower of the previously disadvantaged, the mining charter of 2010 was only able to empower meaningfully 3%. So we had to take steps and align ourselves also with radical economic transformation.
You and Mr. Malusi Gigaba are very unafraid to take the bull by the horns. I think you've taken the stance on radical economic transformation very literally. So congratulations on that, Minister. To your defense, the ANC released a statement saying there'll be a lot of job losses if this mining charter was explored. In fact, if it was implemented tomorrow, thousands of people would lose their jobs. Why do you think the ANC would release such a statement when it is the ANC policy for radical economic transformation? Why would people in the ANC believe that there'll be job losses if this sector is implemented?
Well, I respect my organization's views. I'm a disciplined member of the ANC, but what I can say here and now, I have consulted all the stakeholders that I needed to consult. I also went to my party, raised this matter, debated the matter before I finalized it. And I'm ready to be engaged on any front concerning this charter. But where I stand, this charter, the ANC itself is happy about this charter because I have consulted. If there are issues they want to raise with me as a disciplined member of the ANC, I'll go and listen. But what I want to say at this time, at this stage, is that the mining charter was gazetted yesterday. It is implementable from yesterday. We understand that there will be those who oppose it, those who have their views, those who are raising issues. We look at those issues, but we want to call upon the peace-loving people of South Africa to ensure that as we come with this charter, it's not the charter that is well thought by the minister. This charter is the charter of the needs by the people of South Africa. What we are trying to do as the department is to ensure that what people we have promised to do for the people must happen.
You must deliver.
We must deliver, stop talking, implement. Because in one of the consultations we had, the communities have actually said to us, we know these stories. You come to us and say, now we are going to be radical, now we are ready, we are going to implement, but we do not see the actual implementation.
Let's ventilate that point further, Minister. This is not the first charter the ANC is going to be engaging in. There's been many other charters, and I quote for one, the establishment of democracy, the Freedom Charter. To this day, the Freedom Charter is not fully implemented. What are you going to do to make sure that this mining charter is implemented fully and that it changes the lives of South Africans?
Well, we have started going back to the people of South Africa, presenting to them their document as a compact between their government and themselves. And as I talked about the people of South Africa, business is also included because we consulted with business. And we are also readying ourselves as a department for capacity to ensure that what we have agreed upon and what is in the mining charter gets implemented. For that, we have committed ourselves that we will frequently and report to the president because we are appointed by him. Should the organization, my organization, want a report, I'm ready to report progress often and measure progress, because I believe that if we don't measure progress from yesterday going forward, we'll then say at the end of 5 years, hey, we didn't know we have made these mistakes. But if you measure it frequently and you report, you'll be able to stop and say, there's progress, I need to increase speed, or the speed with which we are going is correct. And we'll keep the people of South Africa informed.
Take me through some of the points that are imposed in your mining charter. What are some of the points that you've made that in implementation would improve the lives of people?
Well, we have moved the percentages of black holders from 26% to 30%. As we were consulting with the masses, the workers came to us and said, we do not want to be lumped in this percentage with entrepreneurs, because often entrepreneurs will take more. We then went back and said, okay, let's be clear. In this 30%, we have workers owning 8%. We have communities at 8%. And then we have entrepreneurs at 14%. And the reason why we did not take the route of making everybody to be at 10% is because the percentages that goes to the community and the workers are evergreen. They stay with them permanently. But we are challenging the entrepreneurs to create more jobs. Every day you hear a story by opposition that 9 million people in South Africa are without jobs. And majority of them has actually taken a stance that it is useless to go look for jobs. We are saying these black entrepreneurs, as they get in, they must create jobs for others, and that those jobs should be decent jobs. Not only the creation of jobs by entrepreneurs, but they should contribute in terms of ensuring that ownership of the minerals in South Africa is owned by all the people of South Africa, not only the minority owners who have been there even during the apartheid era. If we have to transform this country, we must accept the fact that in the 23 years, we have done little to deal with that matter. A matter of first economy and second economy has been raised from time to time. Former President Thabo Mbeki raised this matter. Our own President Jacob Zuma also raised this matter. Now it is upon us to stand up and begin to deal with that matter so that we close this matter and move forward once and for all.
Talk to me, Minister, about the 1% from the annual turnover that will be used to create community improvement projects.
The 30% that goes to the black shareholders, they are going to use their dividends over a period of 10 years to pay. It means over a period of 10 years, there will be no liquidity when it comes to the issue of the black shareholders. Our view is that there must always be liquidity so that black shareholders do not sell their shares because they mean absolutely nothing to them. It's not only that. We are also saying, let's prepare for black ownership of minerals in this country. That is why we're saying these 30%, these entrepreneurs must also form part of the operations in the mines.
So they're not just employees, they can one day become mine owners.
Well, I have engaged some of them. It is a reality that some of them have never set their foot in the mines, that they are a BEE partner of. So we are saying if we want to catapult this country forward when it comes to economy, we cannot have passive BEE shareholders. We want our people to be part of the day-to-day running of these mines. We want them to become part of the marketing and amass experience so that as we move and increase these percentages, we have actually created enough experience so that we do not disturb our economy.
So this idea of using black people as fronts and fronting the black face that says, I own shares in a mine, BEE has helped me, and the man drives a nice car and lives in a nice house, but he's never set foot in the mine and he owns no share of the mine. That black fronting is actually a reality, Minister.
It is a reality. And we are partly to be blamed as government. We cannot only point our finger at these BEE shareholders. We need to create an environment that will allow them to participate meaningfully in the day-to-day running of the sector. And once we have created that, then people will be forced to stay with the mines where they are and ensure that production gets increased and ensure that they amass enough experience, because the ultimate end is to ensure that ownership in this sector is actually increased to the hands of black people in South Africa.
So black people are not key players in the mining sector in this country. So who are the key players in the mining sector, Minister, in this country?
We have about 17 companies in this country who have been there, your Anglos, your De Beers, Glencos, to mention but a few, who have been there, and they are the ones that are still owning the means of production. We are calling upon them without any form of arrogance, with all the humility, that there is nobody else to look upon or up to if we all have the interest of this country. We are looking upon them to humble themselves and work with the majority of these people. Going to court will never assist this country to move forward. The people of South Africa should be bold in ensuring that once and for all, we take South Africa forward. If we are going to lose 500 jobs today or 1,000 jobs tomorrow, that will be a sad state of affairs, but we must be prepared to learn and take this sector forward and not stay at the place where we are afraid of taking the first step to the right direction.
So your mining charter says for future licenses to be granted, 50% of the applicants must be black, which means half of the people granted mining licenses in this country must be black people. So my question is, Minister, why not more? Whose land is it? If we're going to say, well, give the black people of this country only 50% at a negotiation, someone may say, we are still crying for crumbs because it's still our land. It was always our minerals in the first place. How do you respond to a question like that?
Well, the law of South Africa, we're actually saying 50 plus 1. Because in terms of the law in this country, if black people shareholding is 50 plus 1, that is deemed as black people. The second issue why we have put it at 50 plus 1, we are realistic about the fact that there has been a shortfall or a gap in terms of our people playing a meaningful role in this sector. We do not want to get here and be opportunistic and mess up the sector. We're saying to our people, get in there. We are allowing a space to participate in the operations of the mine. New mining rights must be owned by you. The majority shareholding must come from you. But for issues of financial assistance and experience as it currently stands, we have to be realistic and say we need the sector that is still playing here and the interested investors that may want to come and take South Africa forward. We want to work with them in ensuring that we peacefully and in a coordinated manner change this country and take it forward.
Does this reverse the program for nationalization of mines? because this new mining charter sounds beautiful, Minister. And to a listener like me who is interested and who believes in radical economic transformation, it seems to give black people the hope that one day we will also participate in this country's economy. But does this new program aim to erase or reverse the idea of the nationalization of mines?
No. This deals with empowering and transforming the sector and realizing what apartheid has done to our people in South Africa. As it comes to your question, we were also given a task as a department by the president and our organization to come up with the state mining company. We have done that. We are going to be vigorous, take it forward, ensure that the state begins to own a number of lucrative minerals in this country to ensure that we balance this black shareholding, empowerment, and the state playing a role in the mineral resources of this country.
Are you not afraid then that there's going to be a backlash from who we identify as white monopoly capital? Because if you speak this way, Minister, I would imagine that many people who own the mines and the land are going to be very unhappy with you. You know, a story may be calculated and creatively written, and you might make the Sunday papers this coming Sunday. Are you not afraid that there's going to be an intensified backlash from white monopoly capital?
Well, I have accepted the challenge. When I was appointed a minister and given the task, I knew it in my heart I was ready to equal the task. Being called names will not deter me in ensuring that this task is fulfilled on behalf of the people of South Africa. I want to call upon the business, the people who are owning the means of production in this country, to cooperate with us and take South Africa forward. Some of us will not be deterred by any amount of pressure in terms of us being attacked. We will focus in the work at hand until the work is done and done properly. We do not hate anybody. We are not here to steal from anybody, but we are saying there is this reality on the table, and there's this commitment that we, the African National Congress, in government today, has made to our people. It has to be fulfilled.
Well, you are a week away from your policy conference. The eyes of the world will be looking to South Africa and the African National Congress as to say what will make up your policies, particularly now that you have recoined the term radical economic transformation. Is this charter going to make some of the debates for the policy conference?
Well, the economic cluster has said and dealt with policies, and I'm part of that cluster, meaning the issue of land, the issue of minerals in this country are part and parcel of what the ANC is actually going to discuss. And I am sure the delegates would also want to know how far have we moved in terms of the mandate that has been given to us. And we will gladly want to welcome the changes that the policy conference would want to make. But we are optimistic that we are not an organization that is haphazard. We are very coordinated, and will ensure that moving forward beyond the policy conference, those of us who will still have a chance to implement but also implement with speed.
Do you think there's going to be a contest here? Because some of the ANC leaders and cadres are shareholders in some of the mines and mining projects. Do you think there might be a pullback from implementing these policies because there might be a conflict of interest because of your very own cadres in the movement?
Well, I attended a conference of MKMVA and I was asked a question. What do you say when people say these policies are made to benefit your own cronies, those that you know? I said, the people in the ANC, the people in any organization, those that we know and those that we do not know, are part and parcel of the masses of this country. They have a right to participate in the economy of this country, and we must not shy away from mentioning that, because we do not want and wish to create a narrative that people belonging to any movement who fought for this liberation must be left out during freedom. When it comes to the point of these cadres, my experience interacting with those that I know in various structures is that they understand that besides themselves forming part and parcel of the sector, they also, as disciplined cadres of the movement, have to ensure that they assist the process of implementing our policies. So we will continue in that way in ensuring that we are all part and parcel of taking the policies forward.
Minister Mosebenzi Zwane, I hope to have you again soon on the hot seat. It has been a pleasure.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me here in these white couches. I normally see you with a number of people and ask myself, what have I done not to be invited? So thank you very much for inviting me, and thanks very much to the listeners at home.
Radical economic transformation is what you've done to earn an invitation into the hot seat. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I'll continue in the same trend. Thank you.
And that was Minister of Mineral Resources, Mr. Mosebenzi Zwane. It is June 16 in South Africa, 41 years after 1976, when hundreds of young black students were killed on the roads protesting against Afrikaans. Freedom is coming tomorrow was the song. Radical economic transformation will come to this nation. The minerals sector shall change. This is Sifiso Mahlangu, a straight talk interview with the Minister of Mineral Resources. Pray for South Africa, channel 405 on DSTV. Straight talk.